I am going to introduce to you Lisa Bifulco, who is one of our program volunteers, and she is going to tell you a little bit about Alzheimer's Association, and then she will introduce Dr. Ray, who is our speaker today. Lisa, take it away.
Thank you, Gladys, and thank you everyone for being here today. I am so grateful for the opportunity to connect with you today and share some information about Alzheimer's and dementia. As Gladys said, my name is Lisa, and I'm a volunteer with the Alzheimer's Association. I volunteer in honor of my mom, Rosa. During my mom's journey with Alzheimer's, the Alzheimer's Association it was my best resource, and honestly, it became my best friend. When we first found out about my mom's Alzheimer's, I was in denial, and I went into hyper research mode, and I found the Alzheimer's Association. Believe me when I tell you, I used all the tools, but my favorite tool, and probably still my favorite resource, was a hotline. I would call that hotline in the middle of the night, in the middle of the afternoon, and ask what I thought was some of the most preposterous questions, and met some really lovely, warm, and very smart, educated people who talked me off the ledge and helped with every question I had, including finding clothing that would make it easier for me to take care of my mom. That's just a little bit about me. Before we start with today's program, I want to take a moment to look at a few facts and figures that impact facts and figures about Alzheimer's disease, and consider how widespread of an impact Alzheimer's disease and dementia can be in our community. Alzheimer's and dementia have affected many of us, but worldwide, the numbers are just staggering. We currently see that there are nearly 7 million, 7 million Americans living with Alzheimer's. We have over 11 million Americans providing unpaid care for people with dementia. And 3 in 5 dementia caregivers say that less stress and more peace of mind are potential benefits of having a care navigator, in which 56% say that it could help them to be better caregivers. To see what the latest 2024 Alzheimer's disease facts and figures facts and figures, visit our site at alz.org facts. Just to make sure we're all on the same page, with some important definitions of our mission references, Alzheimer's and dementia, I want to just tell you a little bit about dementia and Alzheimer's. Dementia is the overall umbrella term for loss of memory, thinking, language, problem solving, and other abilities that sever enough and interfere enough with daily life, which may trigger declining in thinking skills and independent functioning. They also affect behavior, feelings, and relationships. Alzheimer's is the most common cause of dementia, which accounts for 60 to 80% of the cases. Vascular dementia, which occurs because microscopic bleeding and blood vessels blocking in the brain, is the second most cause of dementia. Those who experience brain changes of multiple types of dementia simultaneously have mixed dementia. There are many other conditions which cause symptoms of dementia, including some that are reversible, such as thyroid problems and vitamin deficiencies, right? On to our next slide. Alzheimer's is not a part of normal aging. The greatest known risk factor for Alzheimer's is increasing age, and the majority of people with Alzheimer's are over 65. Alzheimer's disease is considered to be younger onset Alzheimer's if it affects a person under 65. Younger onset can also be referred to as early onset Alzheimer's. People with younger onset Alzheimer's can be in early, middle, or late stages of the disease. Alzheimer's will worsen over time. It's a progressive disease where dementia symptoms gradually worsen over the number of years. In its early stages, Memory loss is mild, but in late stages, Alzheimer's includes the loss of ability to carry on a conversation and to respond to the environment. On an average, a person with Alzheimer's lives 4 to 8 years after diagnosis, but they can live as long as 20 years, depending on other factors. If you know someone who is experiencing memory difficulties or other changes in thinking skills, don't ignore them. Even if the symptoms are mild, see a doctor so you can determine soon enough what the cause is. Like we said, some of it may be reversible if it's due to vitamin deficiencies or thyroid problems. There are many advantages to receiving an early and accurate diagnosis, including the opportunity to plan for the future, access support services, and explore a lot of treatment options. In some communities, the risk of Alzheimer's is even greater. Studies show us that Black Americans are twice as likely as white Americans to develop Alzheimer's, and Hispanic Americans are 1.5 times more likely than non-Hispanic white Americans to deliver the disease. Members of underserved, diverse communities are more likely to endure poverty and have limited access to quality health care. They're also less likely to pursue a diagnosis, receive support, or participate in a clinical trial. Alzheimer's also has a disproportionate impact on women. In the United States, more than 11 million women are either living with Alzheimer's or caring for someone who has it. And almost 2/3 of Americans living with Alzheimer's are women. At the Alzheimer's Association, we're committed to engaging underrepresented and underserved communities and providing resources and education to address the disproportionate impact of Alzheimer's and dementia. In addition to exciting advancements in the treatment, there is more research every day about the importance of brain health to reduce the risk of Alzheimer's disease and dementia. There are several risk factors for cognitive decline and dementia. Some, such as age, which we can't control. Research is still evolving, but evidence is strong that people can reduce their risk of cognitive decline by making key lifestyle changes, including participating in regular physical activity, a little walking, little, running, getting socially engaged, being with other people, and maintaining good heart health. When possible, combining habits to achieve maximum benefit for the brain and body, Start now, put on those sneakers, or your loved one or your family member that you're worried about. It's never too late or too early to incorporate healthy habits for many reasons. How we help. As I mentioned earlier, we have a 24/7 help hotline. The number's here, 800-272-3900. It's available around the clock, 365 days a year. It's a free service of specialists and master level clinicians and other confidential support and information to people living with dementia, caregivers, families, and the public. It's really wonderful, as I said. The Alzheimer's Association, the website is again here, alz.org, offers a wide range of dementia and age-related resources that connect individuals facing dementia with local services and programs. We also provide easy access to resources, community programs, and services in your local community. The association is known for its kind, welcoming, and compassionate support for caregivers and people living with dementia. I'm sorry, I get choked up. In addition to in-person and virtual support groups, the Alzheimer's Association at ALZ Connected is free, an online community where people living with dementia and those who care for them can connect with others who understand what they're going through. We also have a suite of online tools that you can look at whenever you want, and it gives you the tools to succeed, empowers you those facing the disease, including ALZ Navigator, which is amazing, an interactive online tool that creates custom action plans for users based on your current situation, where you are, who you are, what you're going through. And it helps through community partnerships. We offer early stage social engagement programs for those living with Alzheimer's and dementia. It's just wonderful. You can also find the nearest local dementia and age-related resources on our community resource finder, ald.org.cr. And all of this will be sent to you after the today's session. I am so happy to be here today because I'm helping all of you spreading the news, but really excited to be part of this because music has played such an important part in my life and from caring of my mom. She just loved watching her favorite musicals or just listening to her favorite CDs, tapping away, clapping. Now that she's gone, I find comfort and I love listening to her favorite songs. Today's expert, who I'm so excited, whom I've just met and I'm so proud and excited to present to you, will be talking about how to incorporate music into everyday caregiving activities and how music is going to help make a happy home. We are fortunate to have Dr. Kendra Ray join us today.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. I'm just going to share my slides. In just 1 second. Can you see this okay? Someone let me know.
You should try the other screen.
Okay. Okay, perfect.
Ready?
Yes. So thank you so much for having me here today. I'm so happy to be here. My name is Dr. Kendra Ray. I am a music therapist and also the Dementia Program Director at MJ Jesmanora Center for Rehabilitation and Nursing Care. I'm also the Research Assistant Professor at NYU's School of Medicine. I would be remiss if I didn't take a moment to acknowledge the team that I have around me. They are spectacular and wonderful human beings, and I'm so happy to have at least one of them with me here today. Peter Davis is here. I'll introduce him formally in just a second. So why use music at home? I hope today that you will learn how music can increase communication and help to improve quality of life. We'll talk about some ways that music can help to reduce agitation, but then also improve mood. Finally, I'll offer some tips on how to make improvements in care participation. So for me, the most important technique in dementia care is to use a person-centered model. And today we're going to follow Kitwood's model, specifically looking at how music can help to honor the identity of a person with dementia, to engage them in occupation, to provide comfort, and to enable attachment. But before we formally start, I thought it would be a great idea just to take a moment to pause. Peter's going to play us a song, but while he's playing for 60 seconds, I'm going to give him my chair. I'd like for you to just take a moment to reflect on what brought you here today and what are your intentions. Okay. Let me formally just say Peter Davis is a licensed music therapist. He's been working here at Menorah for 6 to 7 years now. And
6+.
Peter Davis.
The camera, I know the camera's on, right? Do I get to see? Hello. Do I get to see? I don't get to see. Yeah. Hello, can you see me?
They can.
You can see me, right? When the night has come, oh, the land is dark, and the moon is the only light you're gonna see. No, I won't I won't be afraid. I won't be afraid just as long as you stand by me. So darling, don't stand by me. Whoa, won't you stand by me? Pretty baby, won't you stand by? Stand by. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter.
Very, very awesome. Thank you, Peter.
I'm out of here. Okay.
So let's talk about honoring the identity of the person who has dementia. And I hope that you had a moment of joy for just while Peter was playing. But by honoring the identity of the person with dementia, you acknowledge where the person comes from in their life story. And I think a great start would be to start by creating playlists. This is an easy way to honor their identity. For many people, music is the soundtrack of their lives. So find their soundtrack, play the music that stimulates their memories, prompts singings, and reinforces identity. I know for many people, they're not able to figure out, how do I start playing or creating a playlist? If you are able to snap a shot of the QR code, I did make a short tutorial that can give you some step-by-step guides on how to start creating your playlist. So here's just a few examples of playlists just to get you started if this isn't something that you've done already. Starting with favorite love songs, favorite musicians or artists, favorite songs to dance to, favorite childhood songs or religious songs are a good place to start. And I'll just give you an example. One caregiver who I worked with used favorite love songs in the evening time because that's when his wife got most agitated. And he noticed that when playing the love songs that they used to dance to together that were slow paced in nature helped to reduce her agitation and help to improve her sleep. So also really quickly, favorite childhood songs for some people is a really good start because many people with dementia remember those childhood and folk songs. So start with that. But for many people with dementia, listening to music helps to lighten the mood, helps to reduce anxiety and relieve challenges. On the left, you see an example of a playlist that was designed to help relax, improve mood. I'm wondering if we can get some chat participation. What song would you add to this list? What songs remind you of home, a family, or a favorite place? I'm going to check the chat really quickly. I'm hoping someone gives us an idea. Let's see. Oh, someone said Harvest Moon. I like that. Beautiful by Mariah Carey. You Are My Sunshine, Gladys. Thank you. Very nice. Grandfather's Clock. I haven't heard that. Walking in the Sunshine, Let It Be. Beauty and the Beast, one of my favorites. Thank you, Linda. That's great. Very good. If I didn't get to you, don't worry. You'll have a chance a little bit later to add a song that you like. So the next thing that Kitwood talked about was engaging the person in occupation. And engaging the person with dementia in occupation means engaging them in a meaningful activity where the person can utilize their strengths and have a sense of control. Singing, songwriting, improvisation are ways that you can support a person with dementia in a meaningful activity. And what's wonderful about singing is that for people with dementia, it sparks conversations and eases their word finding abilities. Singing helps to reduce cortisol, which is a biomarker for stress. And it can help to release those happy endorphins and is a natural stress reliever. Some social activities like singing, we've seen in the research recently that social activities can be a protective factor and can help to reduce the risk of Alzheimer's and related dementia. So I would suggest if you are interested in singing more, especially in the community, to think about choirs like the Unforgettables, which is connected with NYU. It's a special choir for people with dementia and their family caregiver or their friend caregiver. You can also sing while getting dressed, in the shower, in the car, before bed. There's lots of opportunities to sing. And in this video, you will see a person who has dementia. She's singing with her resident. I'm sorry, she's singing with her nursing assistant. The nursing assistant is using care as an intervention. We know from a recent study by Hammer, as you can see, I referenced it here, that singing during care, it soothes, awakens the person with dementia, awakens memories. It can increase interaction and help to build relationship. And the CNA will talk a little bit about that here in this video.
Never gone, as we traveled on.
Since the music, Marilyn has really opened up, and she would talk about her 3 boys, her husband that passed away. She would tell me the good and the bad. She had sad times and she had happy times.
Won't forget, can't regret what I did for love.
Okay. I hope you enjoy that. It's great when you have a nursing assistant who has a beautiful voice as well. But if you're thinking about, well, how can I incorporate singing? One fun way to do it is to choose themes from a hat. For example, what song comes to mind when you hear the word happy, or mood, or moon, or white, or world, or water? Please, I'd love to see your answers in the chat. If you don't have any answers, I can give you an example that's on the screen already. Blue Moon is one song. Someone said White Christmas. That's a great example as well. Daisy, Bicycle Built for Two. Talking to the Moon, Bruno Mars, nice. When the moon hits her eye like a big pizza pie. Silvery Moon, Blue Moon, You Saw Me Standing Alone. Great. You all are experts. What a Wonderful World. Perfect. Perfect, Gwen. Okay, so here's a few other examples, although all of yours are really, really good. Woman, No Cry. Man, Old Man River. Light. Someone said earlier, You Are My Sunshine, but also you can have This Little Light of Mine. I'm Gonna Let It Shine. Another example of what you can try as a brain gym activity is to fill in the blank from familiar lyrics. So I have some examples here, but you might want to create your own. I think that these can help to stimulate song titles or lyrics, or prompt an opportunity for singing. So someone said, Daisy. Give me your answer, do. I'm half crazy, all for the love of you. So you all were already on the right track. If you're able to, and if the person that you're caring for is able to, you might also consider trying to sing in rounds using songs like Row, Row, Row Your Boat. I understand that it just depends on where the person is and their cognitive levels. You might not be able to. If you aren't, you're going to all receive these slides, or it will be on the website. So don't worry about links, but I would try going to YouTube and singing along with other people who are singing in rounds. It can be a really fun, stimulating activity. Okay, so songwriting was another example that I think is great. And if you want to learn more in detail about how you can use songwriting, there is a reference here. Felicity Baker wrote an amazing article. But for people with dementia, songwriting can be a meaningful activity. It can bring back memories, helping with engagement and social interaction. I'd like for us to try, if we can, to fill in the blanks with the song Stand By Me. And Peter got us started earlier, I hope, planted the seed in your head for Stand By Me. But what I'll ask you to do is just, if you can in the chat, just name an object or place, and I'll do my best to write in some of your answers. You won't have to sing, don't worry. So for example, I would say when instead of light has blank, I would say when I'll name a place, Earth. Okay, Susan said moonshine. So Susan, since you're first, I'm going to do my best to write. I'm going to do my best. Let's see. One ahead of time. Then. Hope you can read my handwriting. When the moon has shined. I see light has dimmed. Thank you for that. Not really easy to write with a mouse. Linda, you were so great. You gave all the answers. Linda says, no, I won't sleep.
When the light has dimmed and the songs are hymns and your eyes are the only things I see, no, I won't go to sleep, but I won't make a peep as long as you sing by me.
Oh, thank you. That's so great. That's so beautiful. No, I won't go to sleep. No, I won't make a peep just as long as you
Sing to me.
sing. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I love it. I hope someone saves the chat so that we can see that later. Okay. Sorry about my chat box covering the slide. So here is an example of a caregiver who was in my study. And if there's anyone here who was waiting to hear just a little bit about research, here's your quick moment. A caregiver who I was working with for about 6 weeks rewrote this song, and the person said, when the mind has changed and the idea is gone and love is the only thing we'll see. No, I won't be lost. No, I won't be lost just as long as you stay with me. And I'm going to go to the next slide so that you can see just an example of how this content comes together in a study. I worked with caregivers and still am for 6 weeks. So these are preliminary results, and asked them to complete some surveys before and after we started our 6-week intervention, where they learned how to use music during their care. At the end of the 6 weeks, they were asked to write a song, but then we also analyzed the data. And I'll just tell you really quickly what the results were. And this is online if you'd like to look at it later. Our 6-week workshop contributed to understanding how caregivers perceive burden. And we did see that the caregiver burden was significantly reduced after they engaged in music. But the lyrics showed us that the caregivers had a desire to persevere without fear in their caregiving. There were themes of issues of falling or failing, but there was an indication for caregivers to stay with the person who they were caring for. The most important thing was that I noticed that at the end, many caregivers still felt like they needed a continuous support. So something really to consider if you're thinking about working with caregivers. So I love the idea of the caregivers really having an easy time of completing the song, but you might be in a situation where the person with dementia can't recall a word that they want to think of really quickly. So you might include pictures like here we have dancing, sunshine, rain. Maybe the person is sad, the person is swimming or smiling. And then giving them choices is a great idea to help them engage and to help them, not fail on this particular activity. So just thinking about those pictures, I quickly came up with a song, some lyrics. This is from Did You Ever Know That You Were My Hero? Wind Beneath My Wings. I was the one with all the sunshine, while you were the one with all the rain. Only a face without a smile. I never once felt your pain. So, um, it's a good idea to engage in songwriting, but if you are able to talk about, what do the lyrics mean afterwards. So the third thing that Kitwood talked about was enabling attachment. I'm going to take a sip of water. And when engaging in a music activity such as drumming or dancing, you can enable attachment. I do think you can do the same thing with singing. This means that a connection is made, trust is formed, the person with dementia feels a sense of security. Here is pictured a caregiver with her dad, who I worked with in the study. She generously allowed me to use her picture, but they're here dancing to one of their favorite songs. And even though he wasn't able to remember a lot of things, he remembered his dance moves. So it was really, really nice to see that. But engaging in drumming or music with movement allows people to engage verbally or even non-verbally, regardless of their communication abilities. So I thought really quickly, if you are able to, if you have a notepad or a pen, you can play along with me. I'm going to play an example of how you might use drumming. Really, really simple. This was taken from Christine Williams, Christine Stevens, who is a music therapist and social worker. I want to give her credit for her work. But she said that you should do like we did when we started this session. Start with an intention. Take a deep breath and start with creating air with an open hand, and then play something simple like love dub, and then make it a little bit more complicated. Tap, tap, boom, 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 and then come back to love dub, and then create an open. Even though people with dementia can't speak in the later stages, many people can't speak in the later stages of dementia, they can still drum and still improvise and still communicate through drumming. If you don't have drums at home, you might think about using spoons or pots, or even just going to Amazon. I'm not advertising. They have some really inexpensive drums. Oh, since you can't hear me, I won't play, but you might say, "My name is Kendra. The weather is cloudy," just to start a rhythm and then improvise from there. Okay. The last idea that we'll talk about today is using music for comfort. And as you know, music can be used to help to reduce anxiety or agitation, or to help a person with dementia to feel supported from their caregiver. Many times, music is so powerful that it helps people connect beyond what words could actually do. So really, briefly, we'll talk about music for sundowning, music assisted to bath and shower, and if we have time, I'll show you a video about guided imagery with music. So a few years ago, with one of my students, we noticed that many of the residents were having a difficult time in the evening. So we started going from room to room as people were getting into bed and playing songs for them. And the songs that we played were, I'll refer back to that lullabies, adult lullabies playlist where people added songs in the beginning, songs that reminded the residents of home, that were spiritual in nature, or was a favorite place. I think for music for sundowning, music listening is a really good thing to use. And if you can't play an instrument, try playing music in the background. Reminiscing to music is also a good idea. And I'll always go back to singing because I do think that it cleanses and restores a person and brings you back to a nice baseline. Music assisted shower is something else that we use here, especially in the nursing home. Shower time is one of the most complex tasks for caregivers, as many of you know, but music can be used to soothe anxiety and reduce agitation during bathing. And it's a great thing to use music because many people, including you all, probably sing in the shower. So adding music to the shower time is a great idea. Again, if you want to take a screenshot or a picture of this QR code, it will give you a really good outline of what I'm talking about today, because I have just a couple of minutes. So just some key points to remember about music assisted shower or bathing. Always use music before introducing the shower. Check the volume for comfort because sometimes people might be in the shower and can't hear the music that's outside of the shower. And Alexa or other Bluetooth speakers are a really good idea to use during shower time. And don't forget to sing. I don't have time to go through the scenario that I wanted to, but wanted to give you a starting point to think about making a playlist for music assisted bathing. And guided imagery is also really wonderful. A nurse named Suzanne Fitzsimmons, who also helped me with the music assisted bath and shower protocol, wrote about guided imagery. You'll get the slides afterwards, but I
can still
have a video we won't have time to play, but here's a really nice script that can be used for guided imagery. And I encourage you, if you're really interested in this topic, to visit the article that I have listed at the bottom. Okay.
I can still.
So just as I end today, I'd really like to encourage any of you who want to learn more about music to consider joining one of the studies that I'm conducting. There's one called Beyond Listening, where you'll meet with me for 6 weeks, learn how to incorporate music. We have a good time. We do meet on Zoom. I'm also developing a music-based app, and it'll be wonderful if anyone is interested in testing the music app out. It's specifically designed for people with dementia. You can recommend improvements and be an early adopter. If you're interested, please, do get in touch with me. I wanted to conclude by just saying that, art in all of its forms is an encounter with an emotion. And as caregivers, music therapists, healthcare professionals, family members, we can use music to tap into emotions that is makes people feel safe, provides comfort, and is person-centered. You can feel free to contact me with any questions. If you feel like you need a music therapist, not just yourself or to be in a study, you can go to cbmt.org and type in your zip code. You can find a music therapist that way. And last but not least, my team and I did create a booklet that is free to download. It's called Music Therapy: Keys to Dementia Care, where we outline many music-based interventions that caregivers can use. You can also click on the QR code that is there or snap the QR code that is there. And I just want to say thank you so much. I will be around for questions, but I do want to acknowledge my team once again, and also my funders who made this possible, including number one, the Alzheimer's Association. I thank you so much for supporting this effort.
Thank you, Dr. Ray. That was amazing. This is one of my favorite topics. So our guests, do you have any questions? You can put them in the chat, or you can try raising your hand and we will call on you. But feel free to ask Dr. Ray any questions. Dr. Ray, you're so good at making sure that we had question and answer time. Well, I had a question while you were showing the woman that was in the bed and they were playing the piano. Was that person typically responsive, or was this something that made them come alive?
You know, she was a former actress and singer. So we knew for her specifically that music would be really helpful, and had an opportunity to find out that that particular song was something that she liked. But she did have occurrences in the evening where she did become agitated, like many people do who have dementia. So that's why she was one of the people on our list to go while she was in her space to provide music for her. But yeah, it definitely was something I think that was significant in helping her at least have restful sleep.
Good. Yadira in the audience is asking if you know of any resources for the Latino population.
Oh my goodness. I wonder if they want to be more specific, but I can answer just from my perspective where I am here. If it's for the nursing home specifically, we have a music therapy program and a music program where I've hired two people who are Latino and Latina. One is a music therapist, one is a music specialist, and we provide music that is specific to their culture. Yeah, it's really important. It's really important to make sure that when you're providing music that it's specific to the person, his history and culture. But
The
as far as,
person that asked, sorry, is a caregiver, so I know she's coming from that perspective.
oh, okay. Okay. Well, I don't want to, I would say it depends on what you need. You should consider joining our study. The picture that I showed of the two people dancing, they were from Colombia, so they were Spanish speaking, and the music that they preferred was Spanish. And we ended up having a really good time trying to figure out the needs of that particular caregiver for her father. So if you're interested, join our study. If not, and you feel like you need a music therapist, just go to the cbmt.org site and put in your information. If you don't have any success, reach out to me. I'll see if I can find someone specific for you.
The next question is the music therapy just for Alzheimer's patients?
Music therapy is not just for Alzheimer's patients. It's most popular at this point in the United States with people who have autism. It's used with people with varying disabilities and physical and mental disabilities, but there are different kinds of music therapists. For example, there's neurological music therapists who work with people who've had a stroke. There's music therapists who work in school systems for children who have behavior issues and or speech problems. So no, music therapists work in a wide variety of settings. I know because I did. I can tell you for sure.
How do you approach music therapy with persons that have hearing difficulties that are not correctable with hearing aids?
You know, we have in our sensory room some special chairs. Um, it's called a Somatron. I'll put it in the chat. And for some people who might have hearing loss or hearing issues, we use that chair, which is connected to music that we know is familiar to them. And you can feel the vibrations of the music through the chair. We've noticed for some people it can be really powerful. There's other devices that people use that are similar to wood glockenspiels, very large instruments. I've seen people lay inside of these types of devices and play music, and the people can feel the vibrations through the music. So there are some options. It's just a matter of connecting with a music therapist to get the best recommendation for the person that you're trying to treat.
Another question, is music therapy a college course or self-taught by your staff?
So music therapy in the state of New York, I know a lot of people are from New York and some people are from outside of New York. You have to be board certified, which means you have to have at least 4 years of college. That's in the United States, but in New York State, you have to have at least a master's degree in order to practice music therapy. And music therapy is much different from providing music activities like listening to music. Um, Music therapy includes the therapist providing goals and objectives that they want the person to meet within a certain period of time. So today we talked about music activities, but like I said at the end, if you feel like the person that you're caring for needs more attention because they have a much more serious problem, do reach out to a music therapist.
People are being appreciative in the chat. Um, did anyone see if I missed a question, or does anyone want to unmute themselves to ask?
Hi there. I would like to ask about the use of hymns and patriotic music and the combination with, spiritual connection and with feelings of patriotism, and to what extent and degree do you activate or engage in the course of any particular therapy? I mean, and the power of those. Also, yes, seasonal music as well, like summertime music, Christmas music. I mean, to what extent do you open them up with that? Thanks.
Great question. I can tell you because I am working in someone's home, I'm working in a nursing home full time, that we use music a lot around different holidays. For example, today we had an event to acknowledge Passover. And our music therapist, Peter, who played for you earlier, was there to support the rabbi. And thankfully, he's Jewish himself, so he knows lots of songs that are important for many people. Especially, I've noticed, Linda, that many people who have dementia tend to go back to their spiritual. If they were spiritual when they were younger, they're maintaining that as they get older. And we have family members who live here, but we have family members who come on a daily basis. And for some of those family members who engage in our music therapy groups specifically, we're using primarily spiritual songs. We have veterans who are here as well. And I have music specialists who are not music therapists. They use God Bless America on a daily basis almost. And that's important to a lot of people who are veterans and also to people who might be immigrants and be really grateful and thankful to be here. So definitely it's important to know what's important to the person that you're you're taken care of, and to use music to leverage that, and start conversations and help people to reminisce. So good question.
Um, good afternoon. Can I add something to that? Thank you very much, Dr. Kendra. Hello, you hearing me?
Yes, go
Yeah.
ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, I agree totally with you. I'm a caregiver, and I had a rabbi, as you speak about rabbi, and I found it very weird. Guess what his music was? Elvis Presley. I said, wow, because he remembered, apparently he was not rabbi then, he was a young man when Elvis Presley came out. So I thought I was playing religious music for him. And his son came in and said, no, Elvis is his music. I said, oh my God, you serious? I was kind of shocked. But then, as you say, yes, go back. Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Great
Thank
point.
you.
Really great point. So I'm assuming that the rabbi was someone that you were taking care of, and yeah, he had a love for Elvis. That's great.
Person-centered care. It's all about who it is that is with the disease.
Absolutely.
Anyone else have any questions?
I'll add a quick follow-up. Are there any songs that are completely unfamiliar, that are well known but completely unfamiliar to your patients, as it were, that they gravitate towards or are particularly appreciative of? Any novel songs? I mean, do you find anything that really catches their interest other than nostalgic, familiar songs?
I would say, Linda, that, for a while we had a choir here, and we were teaching many of our residents who had dementia new songs. And because we have a mix of people from Russia, from the Ukraine, from Brooklyn, from Jamaica, etc., we're singing songs from everyone's culture. And amazingly, people started to learn songs that were not familiar to them, that were actually in another language. It took some time, but because it's repeated over and over again, then that becomes something that's familiar, and they feel ownership of as well. So yeah, absolutely, you can introduce new songs. I would just say that if the purpose is to help a person who is really agitated and has a persistent behaviors that makes them uncomfortable, to stick to things that they know. But if it's for fun, yeah, it's always good to introduce new music and to see where that goes.
Sia Hamba comes to my mind when you're saying
Yeah.
that. Sia Hamba kukanyan kwenko Sia Hamba kata kata ta.
Yeah.
I'm sure they would
Isn't that
get
from Kenya? I think.
yes, and it's
Yeah,
a fair
yeah.
amount of the more novel hymnals. They're English words too. I can see them just hooking right into that one with the rhythm and the offbeats and
Yeah.
funny words as hoo hoo Sia. They would love that.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
good to talk to you. Good to hear. I'm so glad I attended today. Thank you for your help and expertise.
Thank you.
I'm
too.
gonna say Donna said this is a very different way to use music. And when someone feels they cannot teach music in a school area, I really think that this is a great way to go. Is there a way to get the word out about this special teaching?
Wow. I don't know. I'm stuck, Gladys. I'm not good at marketing. I think that this was a great opportunity. I'm glad that I had an opportunity to speak to all of you. I'm constantly speaking at events. If you can follow me on LinkedIn, my name is just Kendra Ray. But yeah, share if you can what you heard today with your friends and your family. That's all I can suggest.
Well, I want to take this opportunity to thank Kendra Ray. This was fabulous. I'm sure that we will want to have you again sometime in the future. Thank you to Lisa, our volunteer, who did the beginning presentation. I urge everyone to call our 800 number, 800-272-3900. That is not a hotline, it's a helpline. You call there to get information, to get connected, to talk to somebody who understands the disease, to join our programs and our support groups. Thank you to everyone that joined. And please contact us. You are not alone in this journey.
Thank you, Gladys. Have a good day, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.